Hey there, and I'm looking for the fastest way to buy out the economy. The only problem is at the time, I didn't know how to do it. But then, I got looking at my video games and movies and thought, what would David Cook do? We'll open a video game and movie rental service that charges members a monthly fee and late fees, of course. Welcome to the grand opening of my movie and video game rental store. I was going to open a library that not only offered books and movies, but also offered video games. The only problem is, we already got one of those. So I decided to take a page out of Blockbuster's book and not offer books at all. And I also can't forget to mention that on opening day only, if you pay an extra 53 cents, you get a chance to win a Conway Twitty CD. Well, now with all that out of the way, we are officially open for business. It is going to be a slow day.
Video rental stores are a business model thought to be long dead, but not really. Video rentals were extremely popular from the mid-80s all the way to about the early 2000s. Video rental stores were a place you could go to rent a movie for a few nights, then return for something else. Undoubtedly, though, the most popular of these stores was Blockbuster. Check in between your couch cushions and you'll probably find a Blockbuster membership card in there. Blockbuster was the king of video rental stores. It was so big, in fact, that when Blockbuster closed their doors for good, they actually didn't. Yes, the last Blockbuster on Earth located in Bend, Oregon. I have a membership there despite the fact that I have never been there, and it's about a 6-hour drive away from my house, but going there someday is on my bucket list.
Now, even though I live too far away from Blockbuster to comfortably drive there, thanks to the internet and thrift stores, I can experience a little bit of Blockbuster from home. I own this hat, which is super comfortable. I also own a few movies that came from a Blockbuster. I got The Hitcher and Sunstorm. I haven't watched either of them yet, but they're just super cool to own. Now, I can ramble on about Blockbuster memorabilia and movies all I want, but this is a video game show. But thankfully, Blockbuster and a few other rental stores decided to dip their toes in the video game pool, which means I get to... Alright, my first customer! Alright, I gotta look professional. Hello, sir. Welcome to my movie and video game rental store. If you donate 53 cents, you can be entered to win this Conway Twitty CD.
No, I just want Spider-Man.
Well, I have a lot of Spider-Man. You're going to have to be a lot more specific than that.
Everything Spider-Man related you got.
Okay. Well, I got Spider-Man on VHS, Spider-Man for PS2, and Spider-Man for PS4. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have a great day. Alright, where was I? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about rental games. Now, my original plan was to just talk about the games that I own that just happen to come from a rental store, but there's one game that I have to talk about first. Talking about video games in stores like Blockbuster and not mentioning this game would be like talking about McDonald's and not talking about the Big Mac. This game is notorious. The game that I speak of is Clay Fighter Sculptor Cup for the Nintendo 64. This game is just okay.
Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut is a fighting game. It's an updated version of Clay Fighter 63 and a third that was released exclusively at Blockbuster stores. Now me, I suck at fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and that is exactly what this game is. So because of that, I am man enough to admit that the first time I played Sculptor's Cut, I played on the cookie difficulty, which is easier than easy. But other than that, this is an alright fighting game. It is a bit weird playing a fighting game with a controller that looks like this, but because this game was a Blockbuster exclusive, if you wanted to play it nowadays, you would have to pay If you wanted to get a similar experience, you could just play the original version, or you could commit two of the deadliest sins in the eyes of retro purists. That is either A, emulate the game, or B, do what I did and buy a reproduction card off of eBay for like 30 bones.
Now, it does kind of suck that my copy of Clay Fighters isn't an authentic one, but I don't want to pay over $1,000 for a game that IGN gave a 3.7. It's just not happening. But I do own other authentic games that did come from rental stores. And starting with another Blockbuster game, we got Star Wars Shadow of the Empire.
Shadow of the Empire is a side story to The Empire Strikes Back. In this game, you play as dollar store knockoff Han Solo trying to hunt down Boba Fett almost immediately after the events of the movie. This game, unlike Clay Fighters, was not a Blockbuster exclusive. You could walk into any retail store and buy a copy for yourself. In fact, this was so true for the next game in my pile that this game didn't even come from Blockbuster. My copy of Virtual Chess 64 came from a store called Great American Video. Now, Virtual Chess 64 is just chess but in 3D, nothing special there. Now, Great American Video, on the other hand, other than the website, I couldn't find anything on this place. But by the looks of it, they just seem like a mom and pop store.
Now, you're probably thinking, that's great. You own 3 Nintendo 64 games from rental stores. But do you have anything else? And to that, I say, yes. The last game I own from a video rental store is ESPN NBA 2K5. I have no idea what 2 of those words even mean. This is a basketball game, and a pretty realistic basketball game at that. Normally I wouldn't have picked up a game like this, but this one was special. It's from Hollywood Video, Blockbuster's less successful cousin. Well, that was a fun way to waste a few hours, but closing still isn't for a little while, and business is still slow. I could probably waste some time reading this magazine I found behind the dumpster, but or I could waste some time talking about the second method to rent video games, the internet.
GameFly is awesome.
Real kids talk about why they love GameFly.
Choose the games that you want. I want this game. It comes straight in the mail.
Keep them for as long as you want.
You can either buy it straight from them or send it back.
Get a new game.
If you want to play the latest video games, you can ask your parents to sign up for GameFly with this special TV offer. GameFly lets you rent the games you want online and delivers them right to your house.
GameFly's selection is ginormous.
They have RPGs, shooters, they have racing games, fighting games.
You can just go to GameFly, they have it.
GameFly selection is insane.
GameFly has over 8,000 console and handheld games. Your parents can even set up controls so you only rent games they approve. You can ask your parents to sign up for GameFly.
No due dates.
No late fees.
My parents like it because they save money.
If you want to get games from GameFly, you can ask your parents to go to GameFly.com. Click on the joystick in the top right corner, enter ACE in the box, and get 1 month free. And remember, your parents can cancel anytime. Must be 18 years or older to order online. Product shown rated E through E10+.
I love GameFly.
You should try it.
There's nothing better than GameFly.
If you watched TV during the late 2000s to early 2010s, then you most likely have seen a GameFly ad, or 2, or hundreds. I swear, these things came on during basically every commercial break. GameFly's shtick is that they're an online service where you can rent almost any game for any console, or buy them at a discounted price. And yes, you heard me right. I did say they are and not they were. And that is because GameFly is still in business. You can still rent games from them. They have also expanded their buying options from just games to game controllers and the oddball accessory. GameFly was founded in 2002 by Sean Spector, Jung Soo, and Toby Lenk. GameFly used a DVD by mail business model, most notably popularized by Netflix. Now, saying that GameFly was big is probably the understatement of the decade. GameFly was huge! You couldn't go anywhere without seeing an ad for GameFly for a while. They even had ads involving Wreck-It Ralph. By the end of the mid-2010s, GameFly's popularity has definitely dropped, but the fact that they've managed to stay afloat even in 2022 is simply amazing to think about. The fact that GameFly is still alive really shows the demand for renting media isn't totally dead. GameFly allows you to rent video games, and services like the Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now are kind of like GameFly. Renting movies isn't totally dead either. There's still a single Blockbuster left, and mom and pop style stores like Great American Video are still popping up, even if they are a bit on the bootleggy side. But even some streaming services let you rent movies like Amazon Prime Video and YouTube.
In the end, the thought of renting media like video games or movies, I don't think will ever truly die. And who knows, maybe with all the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s nostalgia floating around, maybe we'll see another Blockbuster type store pop up again. Oh, well, would you look at the time? Closing! Oh, and it looks like while I was rambling, Mr. Really Likes Spider-Man brought back all of his stuff. Oh, I guess I better check this stuff in before I go home. So we got Spider-Man on VHS. Rewinded, that's good. Spider-Man for PS2. Good. Spider-Man for PS4. Perfecto. And a letter from the library saying I've been served. Huh. So, turns out the library had a patent on renting out movies in this town. I'm surprised City Hall didn't tell me that sooner. Thankfully, the library was pretty lenient due to City Hall not telling me about the patent. So all I had to do was hand over my business, the building, and every penny I ever made. But losing all that was not the worst part of this entire thing. The worst part of this entire thing is the fact that I'm still stuck with the stupid Conway Twitty CD.